Hello and welcome back, dear viewers, to this brand new episode of your show, The Untold. My name is Daij Al-Hotari and I'm here with my colleague Fatma Al-Awdi. How are you doing today?
No, I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Today, Daj, we have to talk about time, and it's not time management, but it's timekeeping, and especially in the world of watches. We have with us a collector, a watch enthusiast, Mr. Salem AlMutawa. Now, can you believe Salem was the same guy
Yes,
that
we had previously.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
about business, right? But this time is going to be about watches and how we're going to explore this world, which I really am not. I'm very new in it. So
Yeah,
what
we're
about
gonna
you?
get to know more about it
Yes.
in this episode. So, dear viewers, stay with us. We will be back with Salem.
Welcome back, everyone, and we are together again with Mr. Salem AlMutawa. Welcome back.
Well, it's an honor to be back. I'm really excited to be here.
So this time we're not talking about entrepreneurship, we're not talking about business, but we're going to talk about, and I like this because our producer wrote this, a spark in time.
All right, cool.
So
Very nice.
You would like
analogy.
that
what,
title.
right? I love it. I was like,
Yeah.
I have to say it. So what first sparked this passion about collecting watches?
I've loved watches ever since I can remember. It came from my love towards my dad. My dad is my hero. He's my idol. He still is. He always will be. And my dad always had this watch. It was an old watch. It's now, if he wears it, it's like really small. But every time I would wear that watch, I felt I was like my dad. You know, that sparked it. And plus, I love movies in general. I love the superheroes in movies. But a lot of superheroes, they wear watches. So I would always like resonate that I'm the hero because of I
You're
would buy the
wearing
watch
the
that
watch.
they're wearing. So I'm like this famous character or this hero in the movie. That's how that passion grew. And it's addictive. I'm a watch addict. I would admit here right now that I'm a full grown man that as a watch addict.
All right, but what is it about watches that you find fascinating? Is it the design, the mechanics? What is it exactly?
I guess it's that feeling when you wear it that you feel, because as men we don't have a lot of accessories that we can wear that
Agree.
is like very acceptable, let's say. So a watch always gives you a sense of character of how you feel the day, a certain look, a certain attire. So I love that towards myself, not towards others. So I just love it. I don't know why. I guess it's just, it gives that sense of feeling. Like even coming to the interview today, I'm like, okay, which watch should I wear that would match my attire? That makes so it's like a study process before doing anything. When you start the day.
Okay, and also, do you think that because while you were talking, I was thinking, was it about investment or was it about the craftsmanship? I know you were passionate about watches, as you mentioned, because of your dad, but why do you think people collect them nowadays?
Me or people?
I mean, for you first, and
Okay.
then
And then the
why do
people.
you think in general people like to collect watches?
I just like to collect it because it's a nice thing to collect, to enjoy. It's like collecting cars. You know, like I know at Edge, you love cars.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So why do you collect cars?
There's actually a better example for that. I'm a collector myself.
Okay.
It's like, let's put the cards aside. I have limited edition boxes for video games,
Okay.
posters, and these kind of geeky stuff.
Okay.
So why do I collect them? Because first of all, it's my favorite game, let's say. So I'm gonna have to buy all the accessories and all these limited edition boxes. But again, there is also another purpose, which with time, if let's say I bought this logo here for 20 KD, after a year or two or maybe 10 years, it's gonna be worth like what 100, 200, 1,000.
Yeah.
So that's basically it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, he said perfectly, but the investment part or the increase in value, it comes secondary to me. The good thing about watches, that there were certain points in my life that I needed money, and it's a very easy way to sell and to get cash in a fast way. But that's not the main reason why I collect. Now, why most people collect, especially after 2020, after COVID, is because they saw the investment value in watches, especially in high horology or high tier brands or luxury brands, where they would buy a watch today, it would double. You could sell it double the price tomorrow.
Right.
But it was a very fast way to attain cash. But again, it's hyped. So I never bought a hyped watch. If it becomes hyped, that's good for me. And usually those ones that I bought a long time ago that weren't hyped and become hyped, they become iconic.
Okay.
But if it's just hyped for the moment in time, they don't become iconic. They're just hyped for a certain period of time. If people sell it on spot, they may get an extra penny for
But
it.
if they keep it,
But if they keep it, most probably it will drop. And that happens a lot because there was a supply issue at the time, but that is not the case currently in this current time.
but how can you actually tell if it's gonna maintain its level of popularity or drop with time?
You never know. If
So it's just a luck.
it's
Luck
luck.
of the draw.
It's yes, exactly. Luck of the draw. There are certain brands that have that retention in their value, but most watch brands, they don't fall under that. And sometimes it's not even certain brands; it's certain models within that brand that retain their value. But it's always those iconic pieces that have been iconic for a long period of time that always have that same value. They may go up and down a few hundred KD, but that's the best safety zone, let's say, in terms of watches.
Okay. And before we talk about more, I have so many questions right now.
Yeah, right.
Let's let's talk about how you take care of your watches. Is it different from the brand name or the
It
the-
actually it caught my attention when he said before like coming to the studio, he were like looking at the drawer and trying to decide which watch to wear today, right?
Right.
So since you have that, mashallah, amount of watches.
I'm pretty sure taking care of them is
yeah,
different.
Definitely, it's difficult.
I don't take care of them. But that's the thrill of it. That's what I love about them. And people know me that this guy destroys his watches, but not in a way like my other passion is races. So I usually choose a watch that I wanna have those battle scars in a race, and the races mean obstacle course races.
Okay.
Where there's going ropes going up and down, mud and all that stuff. So
While wearing a watch.
while wearing a watch.
And the watch goes in the journey with you. Oh, I
Yes,
get it now.
but I
Okay,
love
okay, yeah.
because because
So it leaves a scar on
Yeah.
the watch.
exactly, because look, watches also represent memories of loved ones, memories of events. So the fact that you put that scratch on a watch, it reminds them like, oh, that's a deep scratch, but I remember it from that thing. But it's kind of takes you back memory lane in some sort of way, and that could be actually, that is maybe the main reason why I love watches, is that it reminds me of all the people that I really love and care about, or people who I give a lot of respect to or idolize.
Right.
So which goes back to, I guess, the root towards my dad. Yeah, but I don't take care of my watches. I abuse my watches, but I enjoy it.
That's weird, but well, it's up to you in the end. Oh, now there's this question.
Okay.
Probably most of people who buy watches, they have this common question, which is, how can we tell if a watch is like original or fake?
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. The fake market.
It's very difficult. The edge.
Really?
Yeah, it's very difficult. Like the cheapest watch in the world, which is actually an iconic watch as well, they make fakes out of them. And they're like 3.5 KD. What do you want to make fake of a 3.5 KD watch, you know? But the fakes are always there. If not fake watches, there are fake parts. So the watch may be original, the case is original, but the movement inside is fake. There is sometimes they call them Frankenstein watches, where the watch is fully original, but it's all made from different parts. You need someone who is specialized and an expert in the market, and you need that in different brands. Like sometimes there are certain brands I can tell from a picture, then that's a fake. But there are other brands you need to take them to a specialized person to analyze it. Like there is a watch part that I bought for a specific watch, and it's supposed to be rare. And then I was going to sell it because I never used it, and then I realized there's something off. I took it to the service center, and they said it's original. I took it to an expert. He told me it's fake. I took it to someone else. He told me it's fake. I took it to another person. Said it's original. I was confused. But then
Now I'm confused.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
fam.
that's
Like,
why
I'm in the industry. I've been in the industry ever since I've been a kid. But how did I know? How did I finish say okay, it's a fake? Because there were certain nuances that showcase that there's a layering that shouldn't be done that specific way, and that's how I know. But even in the biggest auction houses internationally that sell watches,
No way.
yes,
They have fake
they
watches?
have fake watches. They have Frankenstein's watches. They have repainted or remodded watches. Like I will talk about my watch maybe in a question further along the line. But there are so many different scary stories. So the best way to avoid that is buy the watch from a retailer. It's difficult these days because the really demanded watches are very difficult to get.
To obtain, yeah.
Yeah, but it's always best to get from the official authorized dealer. You will know that, okay, I bought this watch, I got the guarantee, and it's,
I mean, I would rather have a Frankenstein watch that has all different parts but original parts,
okay.
even though they're different,
Okay.
rather than a fake part watch. Wouldn't that make sense?
Look, in the enthusiast circle, it wouldn't. Even in the reselling, like if I would go to a dealer to buy this watch, he would know it's a Frankenstein watch. It will definitely devalue the watch. Like I've had a story where I bought my mom a expensive watch from a family friend. And the watch was all original, but it was a different movement from a different part and a different bracelet. And the dealer would not. And then my mom said, "I don't want the watch. I don't wear it that much, so sell it and let's buy another watch."
Okay.
I went to sell it. I couldn't sell it because it was a Frankenstein watch.
Oh.
And there were even parts that were not even specific to that brand. Like you could have actually original movement, but of a different brand. So it's scary. I'll be very honest. It's scary, but you need to do your due diligence, your homework. And this is especially the case when you go into vintage watches. More modern watches, it's a bit of a safer approach.
Like the digital ones, for instance.
I
I have a digital watch.
yeah, this
It
is
counts my
it's
calories.
Very
a
happy.
smart-
I have a digital. I'm showing it off.
Count my steps as well.
I don't know if they do fakes on those. I've not been in the smart industry. I'm more of the original timepiece factor, but I wouldn't speak of that. But I'm not sure how it works in the smart. I wouldn't say something that I'm not sure of, to be honest.
So, so it differs then, for example, cars. I thought it was the same for watches. If you have, an engine from a German engine on a Japanese or Chinese car, then people would be like, wow, this is amazing. But it's not the same for watches if
definitely.
you have different parts from different.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the value? We're talking here about the value of watches. Is it the time that makes the watch valuable? Is it the brand name? I know we're not supposed to be mentioning brand names, but is it the color, the sophistication of the, craftsmanship? What is it that makes the watch valuable?
I think it's the history,
Okay.
which comes with the brand name, and specific models that are hyped, especially nowadays with social media. So that increases the value and the limitation of it. For now, even certain brands, they create false limitation perspectives
Okay,
in order so that
So that people can buy.
it's not that people can buy it, it's so that you will want it more, and then when you get it, even when people resell it later, it increases the value overall of the brand itself. So unfortunately, there is a lot of not straight tactics in the industry, and sometimes what they do is like, okay, you want that specific watch, you need to buy 10 more other watches, or a more expensive watch so that I can give you or allocate that watch to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's business at the end of the day. It's business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So we have more questions.
Yes.
But for now, let's take this quick break, dear viewers, and then get back to you.
All right, cool.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and we are back with Salem. And, there's something you mentioned about your watch. You have
Yeah.
a story behind the watch, right?
Yes.
I'm so thrilled. I want to know the story behind it.
Okay, so this is a vintage Seamaster. As going back to what originally I was talking about, that there's a movie that I really love, and I love this actor in this movie. The first thing I do is like, okay, what watch was he wearing?
Is he a superhero?
No, he's not a superhero.
Okay, because you mentioned superheroes as
no,
well.
it's not always superheroes. It's just let's say the main character in the movie. So I started searching, and this watch, I've been searching for it for like a year. And I couldn't find it. I'm searching, and there's a specific reference. There's so many watches that look like it, but I'm like the more detailed how the hands look, how the indices look. So these are like little nuances in the watch. So I sat for like a good year trying to find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I found it on an online platform, used, battery, not working. Okay, I paid a good premium on it. Okay, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just take the risk on it and see if I can fix it. Took it to the service center, they can't fix it. Took it to 100 people, they can't fix it. And then I found this one guy. I'm like, listen, dude, I'll give you anything. Just fix me this watch, but do not restore it. So going back to what we were going earlier, like restoring, like paint the dial to make it look new, polishing it, all that
Just
stuff.
make it work.
Yes.
Just make it
You
work.
need it
Exactly.
authentic. Yes,
exactly.
yes,
So if you
yeah.
see it now, it's like all like it shows that it's from the 50s, 60s. So this is we're talking. It's like a 70-year-old watch, and he fixed it for me.
mashallah.
Yes, and he fixed it for me. I got the strap, I got the buckle, and I even engraved it on the back, referencing to the movie. But it's like, don't. I forgot what I wrote. I even put my initials in it. But it's like, never give up on your La La Land. So yeah, so La La Land is like your dreamland. So
That would be a great gift for your kids one day.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's such a beautiful heirloom.
But can I be honest?
Yeah.
I fixed it, but it's because it's a vintage watch, and I'm very utilitarian with my watches, as I stated previously. But actually, this is the first time I've worn it ever since I fixed it. So I said that's why I chose it for today.
Wow.
But it's
Why did you buy it in the
That's
first place?
we're so
Just to keep
special,
it?
Dave.
Yeah.
Let's take this moment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I want it to be a special moment with the memory. That's
Yeah.
why I said watches are like memories of
Mashallah.
time. So yeah, why did I buy it? I was supposed to wear it, but then because it was so difficult to fix, that I was like very conservative of wearing it. But I got the courage today to wear it. So
No, I'm assuming this is the only watch that you maintain and clean. No?
a few others, but very few. Like if we're talking like 100 watches, I'm not 100. I used to, but it's a much more consolidated now. Let's say 10% of them is that I take care of them. So
All
like
right.
10 out of the 90, you know.
Fair
The
enough.
rest,
Yeah,
they're
yes.
all like battered.
Now, when we're talking about Mr. Salem, when we're talking about the value of watches,
Yes.
this is my argument, not an argument, but this is my, conversation with every single person who owns watches and who collects watches. Why is it watches and not gold? Gold has value. I collect gold, and this is the only thing that I collect. But I've been in this for 30 years, since I was 7. I go to, I remember going with my mom and, trying to haggle my way through, masna'iyya and the fact and craftsmanship and all of that. But, and I know about gold a lot, and I know that the value increases. If you want to sell it, you guarantee your money. I know the fake from the real from the original, so it's very easy to spot fake gold. It's super easy for people who know it. So would you think that, maybe one day the watch enthusiasts would go to gold enthusiasts or
Like
vice
instead,
versa?
would they switch?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Look, what's funny enough that I see a lot of watch dealers they invest in gold, and they invest in silver.
Mhm.
I've seen that a lot, like especially because a lot of the shops are in the Mbarkiya.
Yes.
So when I see them, sometimes they talk about gold and whatnot. But I'll tell you what's different in watches in comparison to gold. Gold goes up or down in a more steady pace.
Yes.
In watches, especially recently and hype pieces, imagine getting a watch and it costs you 5,000 KD,
Okay.
and I can literally sell it after 1 hour for 10,000 KD.
Wow.
How is that even possible? Huh?
Exactly. What other industry in the world that you can
no,
get that?
there's
There
none.
isn't. And
Yeah.
what? It's on a steel watch. It's not even gold. The gold watches are the ones that diminish in value. The steel watches are the ones that are going up in value currently at this current point in time.
But
I
why
think
does
the
that?
gold watches are fragile. No.
Yes, they are
Yes,
more
yes.
fragile.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get more scratchy.
Yes, yes.
But they don't value the gold. They value the piece itself.
Okay.
Okay, but you were asking.
But
a
again,
question.
why does it go all of a sudden up or down? Is it the brand again? Is
Is it the trend?
Yes.
what is it? The trend maybe?
The brand, the trend, and the limitation. So let's say the certain brand created this new debut model, and it's very hard to get. And it's, let's say, there is a watch that is literally, at the time, how much was it? I think 2,000 KD, around 2,000 KD. It was selling for 16,000 KD.
Wow. Same
Like,
day?
Same day, same hour. If you knew someone who wanted this watch, they would be willing to buy that watch within the hour. So if you got allocated that watch, you can literally just walk out the boutique and say, I got this watch, put it in a bidding
auction or
any
yeah.
auction house, and you would sell it for 16,000.
I think I should change my industry.
Yeah, you're gonna be
Yeah.
selling
But
your
you need
gold.
to be, but it's very a lucky base, because there were even watches that, let's say, were 20,000 and they were selling for 100,000. And there are some watches they're not even made out of steel, they're made out of carbon. So that's even not an expensive material. But again, it comes in all at a specific point in time.
All right. So Salem, we mentioned that what kind of factors can increase the value of the watch, but what are the things that can devalue the watch?
Hype itself is the major devalue. Like any watch that I see hyped, I know this is a watch that is not, at least in terms of investment perspective, not worth investing in.
How about a vintage watch being scratched?
Hmm?
Is that gonna make it like less
In
valuable?
certain brands, especially the higher tier brands, the more damage it is, the more value it is. Like sometimes they're like cracked dials.
Did you just say the more damage, the more valuable?
Yes,
So the total opposite. I thought.
exactly. No, if you get
Oh.
the watch polished or refurbished, they call it.
Oh, that's why you didn't want your own.
I
watch
was
to
just
be-
going to say that.
Exactly.
Yes, that's why you take them on races.
No,
Yeah.
but honestly, like with this watch, it wasn't about the value. Like I don't think anyone knows the value of this watch except myself.
Okay.
But I didn't want to erase the history of the person who had it before me.
Okay.
It's about history. So me wiping away a person's history, I feel like I'm making it my own. It's a disservice. Maybe it's just me, but for other people, it's now, because if they see it in an investment point of view, again, not all brands, but the major brands. There's one brand in specific. Yes, the more damaged it is, the more valuable it is. Actually, if you have a brand new watch that came out of the authorized dealer today, and a vintage one from the 1950s, the 1950s one would be much more expensive than the new one.
Wow.
Yep.
And what about I don't know, what made you decide to create social media content about watches, and what are you trying to deliver? What message are you trying to deliver?
Okay, so it comes with the name, and then I guess there's a purpose to it. So we'll start where I started and where I'm heading, because when I started, I honestly didn't know where I'm starting. I just created this name. The account name is Tokei Ronin. Tokei comes from watch or watchmaker in Japanese. I love Japan. My dream is to go to Japan. I'm really into anime. But it was the closest thing that I would get to Japan through my love of watches. Ronin is a masterless samurai. So I wanted to be someone that was different, not following the hype. I created this account. I just created it. I got into an interview with one of the biggest watch channels in Kuwait, and I wanted to talk about Japanese watches because that was not a common type of watch that is spoken in the industry other than the big names that are out there. And
Especially here in Kuwait as well, or
Yes.
just like globally?
mostly, let's say in the GCC, and also globally, because there are certain brands that everyone knows, and these are brands that no one really talks about, but it has its customer base. So when I created the account, if I'll be honest, I was going through hard times. It was during COVID, personally, and I wanted the realist part of myself. And Toki Ronin was an alter ego, but it was the realest and purest form of Salem.
Oh,
So
that's
and
nice.
yeah, and it was the first time that I felt like I belonged and I was accepted for being the spontaneous, different person. I didn't even know how to talk Arabic properly on the account. I learned through the channel. I'm like all my language is like muffled and mumbled up, but people accepted me and people praised me to it. And we're humans. We want that love, that acceptance to be anywhere. And just I saw that people needed that voice, and it grew from there.
And like, how did they react to it? And like, did you have any positive, negative comments?
They
here and
love
there?
him.
Yeah.
They love,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's social media. After
Even
all,
in
right?
Bahrain, I think they invited you, and I was looking through the pictures, and
Yes.
I was like, I'm sorry to say this, but you were much younger than the people you went with in Bahrain. I mean, you looked younger.
Okay.
And a lot of them are like saying, "Oh, we have Salem from Kuwait, and he's here." I'm like, "That's amazing! Yeah, we're very proud of you."
I'm like, it is something that honestly I'm proud of. I love them. There are a lot of good people. There are bad people, but in the beginning, it's very hard to adapt to it. But then you accept it with time. But it's those people that make me keep moving forward, and I do have a bigger cause as well. Like I did come up with my own edition, and inshallah I'm working on a couple of more. And the amazing part that the proceeds of all of that went for a good cause. And initially I wanted to create a well somewhere in Africa and
Nice.
like do that. But then with what happened with Palestine, and my mom is from Palestine as well, and what was happening, it gave me that bigger motive. And subhanAllah, it came at the right time. When my edition came out, all the proceeds from my profit went directly to there. That gave me a bigger purpose. So now I have like this certain agenda that I want to do really good deeds through that. I've always done it through the account, but I want to make it bigger.
Alhamdulillah.
So I wanted to, and I do that also in my obstacle course races. I even have like this flag that I want you to sign after this that I always lift it with me. The Palestinian flag, I lifted it in Greece. I lifted it in all the GCC, every race that I take to. I want to make the watch aspect not selfish, rather than it's to make everyone happy. And that is the essence of the community that I want to create through Tokyo Run. Because I do sell watches, but at fair prices, that people feel like, oh, I got a good deal. And it's a watch that I love. Talking to people, answering their questions, being real with real facts, because there are a lot of things that are sugar-coated in the industry. And just being spontaneous. Like I just wake up one day, I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. Let me just do a video in the car. I'm known as the guy in the car, you know? And I talk about it, add a few photos, and it just, whatever I think about, and alhamdulillah, it worked.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
So, thank you.
Well, that was actually a very nice story.
No, thank you so much. It's
Thank
my
you
honor.
very much
And of
for
course-
this interview.
Definitely, thank you for coming here again. It was very nice. We are so happy to have you again,
Thank you.
as I mentioned. And yes, I think that's the end. So let's take this quick break before we end the episode, dear viewers.
Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Now, that was fascinating.
Yep.
My questions were coming to my head, and I was like, Salem, what about this? Salem, what about that? But we ran out of time. Unfortunately, I wish we could have Salem Untowa again for the watches
Yeah,
episode.
definitely.
Yes.
He had a lot to say, and we learned a lot today, especially regarding gold and watches and the value. I mean, this is something new.
Yeah, and for the value, when you were shocked, I was shocked as you are when he said the more damaged a vintage watch
Yes.
is, the more valuable, and you were like, wait, what? You know?
How? How is that even possible? But yes,
Yeah.
that was something for us today. So we hope that you, dear viewers, enjoyed it. And yes, that was it. So stay safe. We hopefully get to see you again in the next episode.